Today, we're basically becoming business detectives. We're going to crack a multi-billion-dollar case by following clues hidden inside one automotive company's sales data. Our mission? To uncover the secret code behind their incredible success.
You know, it's a question pretty much every business asks itself. You know things are going well, but do you really know why? What are those hidden patterns, those invisible forces that are actually driving your growth? It's a puzzle that can be surprisingly tough to solve when you're on the inside.
Now, for the company we're digging into today, solving this puzzle wasn't just some academic exercise. The insights they were looking for, well, they unlocked a multi-billion-dollar roadmap for their future. This wasn't just about spreadsheets. This was a high-stakes investigation.
Okay, so like any good detective story, it all starts with asking the right questions. Before digging into a single piece of data, the team had to figure out exactly what they were looking for. They needed to define the mysteries they were trying to solve.
And here they are, the big ones. First off, what's actually driving sales and bringing in the cash? Second, how much do things like price tags and horsepower really matter to customers? Third, which cars are the best long-term bet for a buyer? Which ones hold their value? And finally, the most important question of all, can we find clues in all this data that tell us exactly what to do next?
All right, we've got our mission. Now it's time to roll up our sleeves and dive into the data. Let's start following the clues, looking for that first sign of a pattern, that first piece of evidence that points us toward an answer.
And whoa, our first clue is a big one. Between 2008 and 2009, the company's revenue shot up 115%. I mean, it more than doubled in just 1 year. That's not just growth, that's a huge signal. Something big was happening here. But hold on, it gets way crazier.
Yeah, you're seeing that right. 3,849% growth. That is not a typo. Between 2009 and 2011, as new models were hitting the showroom floor, revenue just went into the stratosphere. This is a massive clue that the kind of cars they were launching was absolutely critical.
But the clues weren't just in those giant numbers. When we zoom in, we find this really clear rhythm to the sales. Most cars were actually sold on Mondays, but Thursdays were the days that brought in the most revenue. And the calendar had its own pulse too, with August being the top sales month year after year. This isn't random. It's like the business had its own predictable heartbeat.
So let's look at the first piece of hard evidence, the market itself. It's immediately obvious that this isn't an even playing field. A handful of companies, Ford, Dodge, Toyota, they pretty much own the market. And Ford in particular just towers over everybody else.
And if we zoom in even closer, it's not just the company, it's one single model. The Ford F-Series isn't just a bestseller, it's practically in its own universe. It brings in so much more revenue than any other vehicle out there. This is our undisputed heavyweight champion. Okay, we've followed the money, we know who the big players are, but now we get to the real climax of this whole investigation. We're about to uncover the single most important connection in this entire data set. This is the smoking gun. 96%. Before I even tell you what this means, just let that number sink in. In the world of data, finding a connection this strong, it's like finding a unicorn. It is an almost perfect relationship. So what on earth is it describing?
Well, to get what that 96% means, we just need to talk about one quick thing: correlation. It sounds all technical, but it's really not. It's just a way to measure how two things are linked. If they have a high correlation, when one thing moves, the other one moves right along with it. Think of them like perfect dance partners.
And here it is. This is the proof. This is called a correlation heat map. Just think of it like a weather map for data. Where it's bright red, things are scorching hot. And look at that bright red square down in the corner. That shows the link between a car's initial price and its resale value. It's a nearly perfect 0.96. The takeaway here is absolutely crucial. The price of a car when it's new is an almost perfect predictor of how much it'll be worth down the road.
And this is why that matters so much. This is the key that unlocks the entire puzzle. A car that holds its value doesn't just put more money back in the owner's pocket when they sell it, it makes them way more likely to come back and buy another car from the very same brand. Strong resale value creates loyal customers. That's the secret. So, the investigation is basically closed. We've identified the key players, we've uncovered the hidden rhythms, and we found the smoking gun connecting a car's value to a customer's loyalty. So, now what? It's time for the final verdict, turning all these clues into a clear, evidence-based plan for the future.
And here it is, the 5-point blueprint. First, double down on the winners. Put your money into the top-performing models like that F-Series. Second, keep a balanced portfolio. You need a mix of the pricier cars and the ones that sell in high numbers. Third, be smart about timing. Launch new models when people are buying, like in that peak month of August. Fourth, and this is the big one, do everything you can to boost that resale value. We now know for a fact that improving quality directly leads to more loyal customers. And finally, use all this performance data to target the right customers with the right cars.
So this company literally cracked the code to its own success, turning a bunch of data points into a multi-billion-dollar strategy. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What secrets are hiding in plain sight in your world, your industry, or even just your daily life, just waiting for someone to start asking the right questions?